the disregard. I earnestly wish that people would imagine what it would be like to see their deceased murdered father reposted for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady.
I call Cap.
I must honestly say, you guys,
I'm on the
that
same
was
side
one.
as you, brother. One
I call Cap.
cap,
I'll
cap,
tell you
double
something.
cap. I'm double capping too.
Mm,
We know how demonic, foul, cruddy, nasty, sexy red is.
Mm.
She describes her coochie every time she gets a chance to. And I call Cap because I see that Bernice still pushing this black girl magic, black girl empowerment. Still trying to give her a cover when she being disrespectful.
Right.
I
That
call
part.
Cap. Nah, she don't get that. But look, I've never trusted the King children
mm.
because they've never protected his legacy. And so that move right there she did, miss me with that. Miss me with that. That girl, Sexy Red, I saw Sexy Red and Gorilla have an interview. And look, not my daughters.
Mm.
I step over those carcasses. That's a carcass.
Well, hey, brother Q, um, can we go to a serious situation here?
Yes,
See,
yes.
I'm gonna share something with y'all. Let me share something. Um, and fair use, y'all. Salute to everybody that's in here with us as well. Make sure you are liking and you are sharing, please. Okay.
Sister
So let me
Reps, we're
bring
going to
this up.
discuss that. We're going to discuss that, Sister Reps, what you just put up in the chat in reference to Donald Trump signing the executive order. We're going to, that's part of the program tonight.
Now, what I want to share with everybody here, just to so we get some understanding here, right? A good amount of footage has been lost over the years, but the severity with which, uh, uh, his assassination took place, let alone what it looked like at the funeral, um, just understanding the grief of what that kind of impact was for Martin Luther King to pass away, and then we got cats out here making jokes and ha ha and all this other bullshit. I want to play this. This is MLK's father at his funeral. This man was absolutely broken and distraught. Okay, let's do this. Fair use. That's his father at this situation here, broken into shambles, into little pieces over here, and we got folks thinking that it's time to make jokes and ha ha and all that other bullshit. This is the issue I have with today's media, and in particularly in the case of those offsprings of Martin Luther King. Those children are diabolical. They never protected this man's legacy. Granted, he had a rough start. He was just getting into himself. I believe that Martin Luther King initially came out and he was just a guy full of passion and didn't understand the different elements by which he was being used initially until he came into himself, which then yielded the phenomenal Other America and other speeches that he actually wrote that were his, right? And then ultimately led to his assassination. Let's be very clear. We have to listen. The mere fact that his family, the kids, didn't deem it necessary to regulate a Sexy Red and pull back and started ha ha and making light of the situation, that shows you where the collective, unfortunately, a good amount of folks' minds are when we're talking about the necessity of seriousness when it comes to situations like this. You know, That King family has found a reason to grift off of their own father's legacy. Yeah, I said it. The King offspring have found ways to grift off of the work that their fathers done. And this is a fact. Okay? The son was one of the very first grifter. He's built like a damn Oompa Loompa. But now you got all of these other. Now that was the moment for that daughter to check another woman. It would have looked a little crazy for whatever sons that are left over to come at Sexy Red and check her. But the daughter, she was supposed to be foot and ass on that situation, and she missed the opportunity to set the record straight. Too much of this goes on for too long, and it gets out of hand. Okay? And then you see generations of repeated behaviors escalate, and nobody correct it. So now we live in a societal degenerate environment, and where there's no corrections being made. I mean, so now, I mean, when I say this out loud, unfortunately, Brother Q, now, yeah, you know what, and Brother Juan, we kind of gotta hold this L. A Sexy Red is the child of her environment. Okay, a child of the environment which we live in. That's the L that we gotta hold. Unfortunately, we're gonna keep it a buck with each other. But I got one other clip, Brother Q. I'm gonna bring up for you if you don't mind, sir. I want to show this other thing here. Hold on, let me bring this thing. Let me bring this to where I need to bring this shit. Yeah. Because I just listen. Let me hold on. Now we had a brother. I'm gonna bring up something here for y'all. This brother right here, R.I.P. to this young man. Okay.
Asai Williams. I see it.
Yeah. And the brother was telling us all of the fuckery that was going on at that time. Let me see if I can bring this thing up, man. Yeah. Let me bring this up. Because we got to make this make sense. Asaya was telling us just how they ran the play. Right? Martin Luther King was having so much momentum, especially toward the end when he got his mind right. Okay? And you see how your very own folks, no different 60 years ago. We talking about the 60s now. 60s and the 70s. Right? If I'm correct, Q, or wrong, let me know, Q. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about at least a 50-year gap as opposed to what it is today, where you're still seeing self-sabotage taking place. Let me play this here. Shout out to this brother right here, Cy Williams. All right, let's play him. He's breaking it down how Jesse always been on the jokes.
I crack into the air. And I looked around to rebuke whoever was that stupid. And I heard something, bloop, fell up above my head. And I looked up, and his leg was sticking through the rail. Dr. King only wore one type of sock and one type of shoe. And I knew that was him. I said, oh, by God, they got it. And then I had to run about 50 feet down and back up, and I got to him. And Ralph was holding his head, and Andy was there. And a guy from Africa who had been traveling with us as a newsman from Africa. We found out later on he was working for the CIA. No, the FBI, working for the FBI. And he had taken a lot of pictures of Dr. King. And I grabbed him in the throat and started choking him, because the bullet hit Dr. King right here. And it went round and cut his medulla oblongata. And I didn't want people to remember Dr. King was had his face shut off. So Andy ran and got a towel. And somehow or another they took one more picture after I made him enter that camera. And it shows Dr. King down with a towel on his face. But I'm going to tell you, I was an expert gunner in World War II. When I ran up on that balcony, and I looked from whence that bullet had to come, the distance of that bullet, and just could feel the wind blowing that day, I said, whomever shot that rifle was one of the best in the world. He shot one bullet. And I believe that Dr. King hadn't moved to go back and get his top coat, the bullet would have hit him between the eyes. The bullet hit him right here. And but what happened? What happened? And then Ralph said we'll go in and take him on to the hospital. Jose, you get all the staff together. 3 of us saw it, Dr. after he was shot. 3 SLC executive staff members. Andy, Abernathy, and Jose Williams. Those were the 3 that saw that body. Now listen to that. So I got in the yard and I was about to lose my cool because I was thinking if I could take some molecules out there and make me some guns and kill me some white folks. And one man said, now be cool. You're doing the same thing you promised me you'll never do. And I started crying. And then I heard Jesse Jackson say, he told me, Jesse, take our people onto the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him.
Let that marinate. Man, listen. Man, let me finish playing this, y'all. Fair use. Diabolical.
And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy came back, says no need of prayer, no need of cry, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over with. He's gone to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport. Because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on. Telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment.
Man, you don't have to look to no white man like folks like to still pretend as if the quote-unquote boogeyman exists. He's been right around us the whole fucking time. Pardon me. Try to make sure Q stay monetized. Listen, the enemy of your enemy is not your friend. Okay? You also, the enemy within is the enemy. And shout out to Jesse. Now he's Mr. Total Round and he's one of the greatest civil rights activists that ever existed. Because a bunch of folks, and the reason I make the correlation, a bunch of folks thought that it was okay to say nothing when they should have said way more than they did. And in this case, when you talk about the disrespect a Sexy Red is showing to a Martin Luther King, right? And, oh, I thought it was just a joke. This isn't a new behavior. This is a spawn of the same kind of degenerate, diabolical, treasonous behavior 50 years ago. A Sexy Red is the baby of a Jesse Jackson, per se. Or at least from that culture of it. So we got to really man, listen, Black America collectively, you got to hold that L.
Chef.
Wait. Can I respond about the double down on this? Because I feel like she missed an opportunity, family. She just like Bernice King.
Okay.
She missed an opportunity, right? You know how these small hats, when you say something to grieve against the Holocaust and all that, you have to go through their rabbi. See, I could look at, she should have played that position of being like a rabbi, right? And listen, just travel with me for a second. She should have had to pay restitution to the Dr. Martin Luther King centers. She needed to go to those centers. She needed to write out a couple of pages about what she learned. She needed to read his works. And then she needs to be an advocate for reparations for our people. That's what she should have done with the platform that she had to rectify that behavior. And if she didn't, she should have sued her.
Mm.
That's how an institution should be moving on these type of things that are a threat to our community and messing with our image. So that was just something I wanted to throw that's the problem. She's not making it serious, which in return it reflects bad on our community where people are not taking us serious.
Generational learned behavior.
This is where what the brother Juan J. Johnson said in the beginning when I presented the picture to him, because I wanted him, because he came in a little later, I wanted him to be the first to respond on that picture.
So
That the disrespect goes all the way back to the kids.
I put in the chat the book by William Peppers, The Plot to Kill or The Plot to Assassinate King. And it documents all those parties involved in the plot to kill King. Great book. The King family took them to court back in '99. They won the case. And they didn't seek no restitution. It's, maybe $1, but they just wanted to go on the record who was responsible for killing their father. So the book, the attorney, William Peppers, I put inside the chat. You can check it out. It's a solid book and lets you know that the gunshot didn't kill him. They killed him at the hospital. They suffocated him. Okay. But again, look, we got to take this L. We got to take this L, brothers, and all those are listening, because again, we're just beginning to do the thing that our fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers and aunties that they didn't do. We're just beginning to start to delineate and protect the culture. So yeah.
So I want to ask a question, right? I want to ask a question to everyone in the chat. In our battle with this, and this is something that me and Chef C actually we had touched on a little bit. How do we respect Dr. King's legacy? Dr. King, like we said, various speeches. For y'all that don't know, and I'm just speaking, I'm not saying nobody in the chat don't know, but because I'm quite sure more people in the chat know about this issue than me. Dr. King's speeches are owned by Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King is always talked about from a political standpoint. People always say he had a political party. I've never read where Dr. King himself said he was in either party, but political parties use him. So I asked myself first, and then I asked everyone else, how should his legacy really be respected? Should we continue using Dr. King when we want to make a point? Because we do it. We want to make a point about injustice. We quote King. And just like Brother Juan, Chef C eloquently put, it's subjective whether Bernice and the family want to say something. They don't say something all the time when somebody uses their father. It's subjective whether they like that person or that person fits their agenda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I ask everyone, how should we respect Dr. King?
Well, see, I'm more inclined to look at his last messages, his last speeches. Where do we go from here? The two Americas. When he spoke about Vietnam, when he began to question himself about, it's a possibility I done steered my people wrong. Look, in this WND culture, they always find a way to weaponize our heroes and sheroes against us. And he's become a tool for the greater society to just direct a straight beam to our minds, to have us in this docile state. So again, until we get past this, I have a dream speech and deal with, where do we go from here? We're going to always be in that docile state. So King is good, but he needs to be reevaluated moving forward.
What say you, brother Negro?
Yeah. I think that we need to do get all the information of Dr. Martin Luther King and make sure that everybody has it accessible or have it accessible to the people from the lineage, right? And we need to study it and then go from there and pick out what we need from it, and whatever's not useful, move on with it and build on from it. Make it a holiday. I'll go as far as to say that we should be celebrating King all the way to the 16th, and then just stop when it comes to when they're doing it, to let them know that they screw up every time. But we need to celebrate them from January 1st to the 16th or something like that. There's many different ways that we can drop it where we can profiteer it off ourselves and do the right thing. But the thing is, I'm really starting to look at the King family, like you said, it's very subjective who they might want when they do these type of things. And one of the things that did put up in the chat is, didn't Sexy Red do something with Kamala Harris during the campaign trail? So if she would have said something, wouldn't that be Sister Bernice would be attacking the machine, the Democratic Party, indirectly? And maybe that's the reason why she didn't really want to take it there, because she's just a Democratic plant. You get what I'm saying? A little bit.
I think it was Megan Thee Stallion that was for Kamala, not Sexy Red. But
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
let me.
I've seen some things. I've seen some things on Twitter where certain people cannot quote King in the eyes of the Democratic Party, in the eyes of the King family. They believe certain people shouldn't be talking about him. And this is the dilemma. Who has a right to say anything right, wrong, or indifferent about Martin Luther King? Because their family has subjected him to the disrespect from years ago. And this is why it's gotten to this point. This is why Bernice's words, though it may seem well-intentioned, but you brothers call cap from the door. Because you see that it wasn't done with grace. It was done with wink, wink, sis, little sis, you messed up. Or if you were so adamant about your father being disrespected, you wouldn't have his name ever affiliated with Gandhi.
that part, a stone cold racist Gandhi.
Well, watch this, gentlemen. Watch this. This is a more of a, for me, I kind of become a little hard line if we talk about really putting some respect on MLK. First and foremost, it is understood that holidays are used to neutralize black folks. And they use the very carcass of this quote unquote freedom fighter, this advocate of black America, to neutralize us right off jump. And then they happen to chase it every 4 years with an inauguration. So for me, I just look at this whole thing different. If we're gonna put real respect on MLK's legacy, that will never be achieved until we actually do what he said in his final hours or days, which is get our check. He said we were coming to get our check. That was what? How many years ago? 50, 60, 40? How many years ago? So how are we
1968.
right? So we still coming to get it? That's not honoring his sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, for me, it's not done until it's done.
Sister Chanel, I seen that you asked in the chat. Yes, Sexy Red just take it down. She did take the picture down. The apology was accepted. But going forward, if you look at what Bernie said, you have a problem with all these, your father being portrayed as a character. Where's the smoke for everybody? I saw a bunch of flyers this week on King celebrations, not on his birthday, on a day, like Chef C said, a day that basically they've designated for capitalism and made it the third Monday of January, and every 4 years it's going to fall on Inauguration Day, no matter what, no matter who's the president. And you've had Democratic Party black people literally upset because Donald Trump was being inaugurated on King Day. Y'all knew somebody was gonna be inaugurated that y'all didn't like eventually. Like, why did y'all accept that they made Martin Luther King Day on the 20th?
So watch this. I'll say this. I think Chef made a point. Frederick Douglass said so eloquently that in his address on July 4th, that these holidays quelch the insurrection spirit. They keep you in a perpetual state of celebration. And that was the problem for me for decades. I never did these holidays because every month you got about 2 holidays. It keeps you in a perpetual state of celebration. It actually quelches the insurrection spirit.
Hey, watch this. I'm gonna go with you, and you continue your thing. See, interesting how they made sure that this was one of the very first holidays of the new calendar year. Is that a fucking coincidence or what? Like, you're not gonna play. I'm not stupid, right? Like this whole shit. As far as I'm concerned, when I look at this illegal United States corporation, it is a massive pyramid scheme. Okay, and ultimately off of siphoning energy and repeating and rituals. Okay. So just to set it up so it jumps off the way that they've always done it, MLK, let's invoke him. Let's see if we can get at least 5 days of talking about the dreams and all of this that he had. And then after that, throw it in the trash. We good. So, I mean, again, we're looking at a situation, man, Brother Juan, where the quelching begins at the start of Q1. Right at the top of Q1. Sit them down. Let's make sure that it is business as usual, sir. And I'm gonna land with that. This is diabolical, man.
So we're gonna go to something else that we saw today, and I'm gonna play for you guys. And we're gonna play it for a minute. It's gonna be a couple minutes. Just tell us what you guys think.
This is an executive order on crypto. This is an executive order on AI. We're basically announcing the administration's policy to make America the world capital in artificial intelligence and to dominate and to lead the world in AI.
Do you want to say your name, your full name?
David Sachs, AI and Crypto Czar.
David is one of the greatest in the world at AI. Most respected, probably there is. So that should take us to the forefront, right?
Absolutely. We got to win.
Okay. Thank you. And this, David, is
Yeah, this is the crypto EO. We're going to be forming an internal working group to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
All right, David, that's for you. Thanks. You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but we're going to make a lot of money for the country.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? And so is David. You have to check him out. There's nobody like this guy. They said, how did you get David Sachs? How did you do that? And he's doing it for the country more than anything else. So we appreciate it, David. Thank you very much.
This is an executive order establishing a presidential commission, an advisory commission on science and technology.
Good. You want to explain that a little bit?
The basic idea is to get together top people from government, the private sector, technology industry, as well as educational institutions, to make sure that America maintains its leadership position with respect to science and technology development in the years ahead.
Good. That's great.
Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum encouraging departments and agencies in your government, including the Department of the Interior, to promote federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina.
I love the Lumbee tribe. So this is their first big step, right?
This would be a huge step for them, sir.
Yeah, they were with me all the way. They were great. North Carolina, Lumbee tribe. Okay, you'll send them a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
They were great. Okay,
And if you'd like, I could get them that pen, sir, as well.
yeah, let's do that.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
You know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. They'll be very happy. So they're all in prison now.
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay?
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Now that's the one. I gotta hear. I want to hear. I like to hear the Negro's perspective on that one. That, yeah.
Okay.
Negro,
I do.
are you live,
You know,
sir?
I was taking notes. I was taking notes. So, first things first, I was looking at the Lumbee tribe. Lumbee tribe, they own slaves of Negro people. That is a fact. So, this is another slave trading, catching, or dealing type of tribe that is being federally recognized, which I do have a problem with, especially since some of them might have obstructed the California task force and other reparations things. So that's one of the things I'm observing here. The cryptocurrency. I feel like this was a sleight of hand and a smack in the face to Kamala Harris. She was doing that with the men's quote unquote plan for her platform, which was cryptocurrency, which was nothing for us. But I see that he's trying to slowly inch his way into black men's territory through co-opting some of those platforms and generalizing it. So the cryptocurrency thing has got me raising my eyebrow. Also, the STEM complete them focusing on STEM. I see that they're trying to compete with the East to end it off from a global standpoint. So yeah, I was making a list and checking it twice. Brother Chef saw the Negro at work. So those are some of the things that I was spot from that executive orders that were being um by being presented by Trump and all that. Thanks.
Well, I'll say this real quick for me is just the necessity of classifying our Martin Luther King. Why classify it, right? That's what comes to me.
You mean
This
declassify it? Why declassify it?
why classify it in the beginning anyway, right? That's where I'm coming from. Um, is this a clever way of admitting that your government has been taking their heads off of a leadership since day one? This government has been acting in a very treasonous manner for decades, being the internal assassins, as opposed to always hearing about all of these foreign terrorists. We got domestic terrorists. We've always had domestic terrorists. So I'm glad that he signed that, because that's gonna pop the lid off the boogeyman, as opposed to us only having foreign threats instead of the domestic ones. I land.
Brother Juan.
Anytime I hear the government saying these keywords, we must not divulge it for the case of what's they say? They call it
National security.
national security. I say it's hogwash. We're dealing with a very calculating group of people, psychopaths. We don't want to accept that psychopaths run this government. Say this again. We don't want to accept the reality that psychopaths run this government and this nation, if we keep it 100. So they're going to do everything in their best interest to what? Protect the security of their psychopathic ways, not the nation. All those files should have been released. But see, we forget that white folks have always fought white folks. Okay? And they got a bloodthirst, a blood history, right? And don't think that when them names are revealed,
They'll be redacted. They'll be blacked out with the thick black ink.
John Doe. It's gonna be John Doe.
I'm talking about the unredacted version. Okay? That some folks gonna be like, you know what? I want to see some justice. The Bush family, the LBJ's family. Okay. Some of those mafias. Look, I can't wait to read it. Not that I need to read it, but I can't. Look, the King family already took the government to court and they won. And found out that the government was involved in the assassination of King.
Well, watch this, Brother Juan. I'm inclined to believe that the Kennedy had some infighting going on, and more than likely participated in the assassination of their very relative, sir. Okay, because we saw what happened when RFK decided to join Trump on the campaign trail. A whole bunch of them relatives came out against him. I bet you're going to find out that it was probably a cousin involved in that.
You know, I think a lot of people don't want to. A lot of family would rather, just leave it alone. It's been look at. I was born the year King got killed.
Mm.
King was killed April of '68. I'm born December '68. It's about 56 years. Okay, there's a lot of people who don't want to know the truth. They don't want to. Can they just leave it alone? And then there's other parts of the family say, no, we need to know the truth. We need closure. I can respect those who want the closure, and you may be right. Some of the family just may be involved because look at all family ain't family.
Mm.
You know, I'm pretty sure you got some folks in your family would love to see you struggling or homeless right now, so they can say, "I told you so. I told you. I told you." So I look forward to it, bro. I do.
I thought it was interesting, and it leads off to what else we're going to talk about. Where those executive orders happened a couple hours before our broadcast tonight, and I think that Bobby Kennedy, I think about being a father, I think about being a son, I think about what this kid, who was a grown man, older than me, went through all his life tormented, that not only did he see his uncle's head blown off, he see his father's die at the hands of Sirhan allegedly. And hopefully Bobby Kennedy can get some closure. This is a very I would want this to be a very personal issue where I would want to know everything, get some closure. For those that if you follow American history, there has been more books about the Kennedy family and JFK, RFK than probably any subject that has ever been studied in American history. The King family knows some stuff, and I think they do withhold. Hopefully, they find out more information, and it'll be up to them whether they want to. If they accept it, it's like I said. One thing about the King situation I find very interesting is, do they feel like President Trump did the right thing by saying certain things should be declassified? I don't know where they at on this. And they don't have to let me know or anybody else know. I would have wished that he would have probably gave one of the pens and his executive orders to their family, but maybe their family don't want to have nothing to do with him. I don't know.
I wouldn't give him nothing.
So it's interesting when you look at executive orders and then, what does executive order mean? We know a lot of his executive orders. The first day of his inauguration, he signed 33 of them. We're gonna go through them in a second because I know me and Chef C found some of them very interesting. So we asking you guys in the chat, what do you guys think about Trump's executive orders, about these 5 or 6 that he signed today, and what's you guys' thoughts?
You asking me?
Yeah, what's your thoughts about all of them that we've seen so far?
I gotta take each one on their own merit because the way he signed stuff is like what Biden did when he came up. Biden probably didn't even read the executive orders that he did with Biden. He just
Trump the first night. We did our inauguration broadcast. So I'm sitting where I sit in my house. I go downstairs, get some water. So I'm sitting here doing some stuff. I got to get ready for work. I'm looking at the TV. He pops on the screen. So I'm looking and he's signing, talking to report. I said, damn, he signed enough executive orders. And I think he signed 33 on that first night, man. But anyway.
So I'll say it's refreshing that you're seeing that he's letting the nation know what's going on. He's not doing it in secret. Most of these folks getting into office, and they like, it's none of your business what we do. With Trump, hate him or like him, he let you know, and not just letting you know, he's having the person to read off what it is, okay, like a witness in the house, and give us a little detail about what it is. So, look, I'm with that, brother. Look here, let's get it all out there in the open. Let's yeah. Let's
I know that. I
everybody.
know that two of the issues, and I'm gonna set this right up for the chef to come with his swords and his knives, his French knife. Um, Two of the issues that a lot of people was upset about was he had signed an executive order that goes over a law that LBJ had for 60 years in regards to some of the issues in the Civil Rights Act.
Hmm.
A lot of people caused a lot of feelings. Me personally, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert on that issue. I'm not going to sit here and try to understand it. I'm just going to do what I do, as they say, put my head down and keep on chucking at this thing until I can able to see it, understand it, and see if it's applicable for or against me. I'm not going to speak on it. But the other one was the birthright citizenship, which, for those of us who love our beautiful Constitution, it is in direct conflict of the 14th Amendment.
I don't think so.
We're going to talk about that, Juan.
Okay.
So we know 15, I think 15 or 16 states sued him immediately for birthright citizenship. And
I hope
President
they lose.
Trump, what'd you say,
I
Juan?
hope they lose.
And President Trump, when he signed it, actually, when I was watching it, they said, are you aware a lot of states are going to take you to court? He said, I know. He said, we have a good argument. So, Chef C, I know the birthright citizenship was something that
Yeah. You can't be outside trying to sell me a $5 water with a baby in your belly and thinking you're gonna be able to land your anchor here. I love the fact that he's doing out the birthright citizenship thing. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a very patriotic civic thing that he's doing. Making sure that you know what, listen, you belong with your family over in your homeland. And I think that's the best way to reunite families and keep them all together. But there's also another executive order that kind of stood out to me that was phenomenal. Trump's executive order number 30, sir. Trump limits definition of gender identity. Okay? And this executive order, Trump signed an executive order requiring federal agencies to define individuals by sex, not gender, okay, in policies and documents.
Mm-hmm.
The order restricts gender identification options to those assigned at birth. Got your ass. So all you assigned male at birth bullshit and all of that, that's out the door. Okay? You are a male or you are a female. Let's make it plain. Let's get back to the basics. I feel like a butterfly one day, and the next time I'm a snake or whatever the fuck. All that shit is out. I love this. And the best thing about executive orders, ladies and gentlemen, they have the opportunity to last past a president's term, depending on the next president that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So something like this, if we do an excellent job at preventing the Democrats to come back into the office with their agenda-driven policies, we can get back to a sensical or at least close to a sensical society. All right. All this other shit that's been dropping over the last 4 years, confusing little kids and everything like that. Diabolical curriculums, sex curriculums in school, telling kids that the new safe sex alternative is anal sex for children. This is diabolical, and this has been happening under your Democratic administrations. I'm a land.
One of the things that before I even get into the gender thing should be as clear as day. You either one or the other. You're not even if you are born with both, they still put you that you were born with both at your birth certificate. My grandmother worked in pediatrics for 35 years,
Mm.
so this should not be an issue. But one of the things I'd address when we talk about some of the things with civil rights, some of the things with anchor babies, birth rights, and why are so many black people, black Americans, up in arms about stuff like this? And we always say that it's the Democratic Party. Some of us don't want to know who we are. Knowing who we are will allow us to get what we're supposed to get. Knowing who we are will allow us to get what we're supposed to get. I mentioned before when the justices shot down some of the things with affirmative action, and Clarence Thomas, who a lot of people don't like, and they say he's nothing but a sellout.
Mm.
I mentioned some stuff that he said in his dissenting opinion, and basically it was about blanket blackness was not the reason for affirmative action. The reason for affirmative action was set out for a certain group of people who were discriminated against. Find out who you are, and you'll know that he's speaking to you.
Mm.
In reference to the 14th Amendment and those amendments in the 14th Amendment were designed for you if you know who you are. We don't know who we are. And this is the problem. This is the problem. These people that run some of these political parties, they don't want you to know who you are. They want us all bunched together, a big old smorgasbord. So I'm not going to speak and say that Trump or anybody else is doing stuff directly to help us. However, I'm going to say that indirectly sometimes people do things just so you can get clarity of who you are. We need to have real civil rights lawyers that are going to speak on our behalf, not the collective. This blanket blackness is not, it's the problem in this country. Like Ebony said, we always put civil rights with immigrant rights, with LGBTQ rights, with women minority rights, white women rights,
Mm.
because they're a minority group. Go ahead, brother Juan.
It's so much to say. So I'll go here. Some of us know who we are. And for me, I believe I know what the problem is. Our biggest blessing is our biggest curse. We're trying to make everybody one big Negro. And again, us delineating from everybody, that's something new for us, man. Because we've been trying to make everybody one big nigga. Okay? So now that we're delineating some old mindset. Okay? And so once we accept that, look here, again, a lot of these folks gonna have this fall by the wayside, man. We may We may only have maybe 2 million out of 45 million who's on board with this. I'm talking about a lot of people may have to disappear.
Mm.
Okay. Just
The white van.
the black van, the white van, the purple van, all the vans. Okay.
The caravan. Yeah. Yeah.
The 14th Amendment was exclusively for the Negro, not African American, not foundational Black American, not ADOS. It was exclusively for the Negro, the colored, the coon. Okay? Not for nobody else, not from these immigrants. I'm clear with that. But again, with us, with the help of the CBC,
Come on.
we continue to try to let people bring people into the tent who don't mean us no good, and we support them at our own demise. And that day is over, man.
I was sharing this with a very good friend of mine. She's like my sister, right? And we were talking, and my sister, might have mentioned this last night, so I don't want to reiterate. But anyway, my sister, she's chocolate, beautiful black sister, you guys, beautiful FBA, B1. She down, right? She loves history, so she always talk about if you ain't on John Brown time, you ain't an ally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about how so many of these groups, organizations, caucuses always try to get a seat at the table. And when we think about it, we've always had a seat at the table. We've always been represented. And it's like, Chef C, to give you guys a little bit of what we were conversating about, Chef C, but we're going into that circle we was talking about earlier. Like, if you're there, Chef C, if you got it in, I don't need to be there. If you're there, because I know you're going to represent me and you got my best interest at heart. But what happens is people get put in position and then they don't need that nigga. I don't need him. You know, I'm not representing him no more. I'm here for Delph, as people say. I'm not here for the people. I'm not grassroots no more.
Brother Q, could you give the people just a little brief introduction of who John Brown was? Because I don't expect the people know who you're talking about. Because I know who John Brown was.
John Brown was probably the whitest black man that ever lived. No, he if you ever know about the story about John Brown, he lost his life and his son's life in Harpers Ferry, excuse me, in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. People should go there and understand what happened. I know a lot of people now, and I don't rock boats, but before he was attacking the Confederacy and slavery, he went to Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass didn't help him. Frederick Douglass basically told him, nah, don't do it. But John Brown was serious about his convictions. He was a man of the cloth. He believed in his faith, and he hated slavery. Hated it with a passion. And he lost his life for it.
He was the embodiment of what white folks fear the most. A white man wanting to end slavery. And he, along with his sons, died to try to end slavery. So when we say John Brown, we're talking about somebody who's ready to go to the grave to end an atrocity on Black Americans. And we don't have a lot of John Browns out here. We got a lot of, as Malcolm would say, some so-called Negroes. We don't have no John Browns out here. I haven't seen too many white folks out here who's willing to take a bullet to end the atrocities perpetrated upon us. And I can prove that because, again, You giving all the resources and benefits to the immigrants. At the same time, you want my loyalty. You can't have it both ways. You just can't. And I try to strike that balance because again, I know what's right for us, but I know that this country will use us
As
for their
Dr.
own
Short would
benefit.
do. As Dr. Short would do. This is a book. This is a
Yeah,
biography of John Brown right here.
John Brown. So
Brother Negro, you got this book? You in here, Brother Negro?
He should be. He should be. Let me see.
He
Oh,
might have
here you
said
go.
it.
Here you go. Here you go. He in
Yeah, I'm
there.
right here. Can you hear me?
Brother Negro, you got that book?
Well, what is it? Show me.
Show that book, Brother Q. That you got that John Brown book?
Nah, but I have seen it around the block though. That's very nice.
we got some allies out there, but I need some allies who wouldn't take that bullet.
Well. Let me add this perspective, then, gentlemen. Let me lay this on the table. Then, do you think that John Brown's conviction was rooted in the love affair that he had with that young? I forgot that black lady that he was in love with. He was in love with a black lady that partly drove him to want to end this slavery stuff. I forgot her name though. Do you guys know her name? It was a black lady
Yeah.
that he was smitten over.
They did a little docu series on John Brown where I forget the actor that just played him. He played it a couple years ago. Showtime. I forget the black lady, Chef C. It was a black lady in the show. These people so wicked. They tried to say it was a boy, but it was a black woman at the time. In real life, it was a black woman, but on the show they said it was a boy that used to hang around them.
Right. But this is where I'm thinking some of the motivation came from. John Brown couldn't imagine this lady that he was smitten over being put into shackles, sir. So he had to do. Hey, some cats is willing to crash out.
Earth
You know?
Angel, you asked. The name of the book is "To Purge This Land with Blood: A Biography of John Brown."
So I'll say this.
Yeah.
I don't think we realize just how powerful we are. Just being connected to us, people change it changes people's DNA and their minds. I wouldn't be surprised if he was smitten by a woman or a male or somebody.
Brother Nico.
The same way you ready stupid Nico. Nico's on code though. You gotta give him once you go black.
Once you go black, be ready to scrap. That's a fact.
Look,
Yeah.
one of the greatest authors and writers, politicians that birthed this nation was Jefferson. But he was even torn between slutting out Sally Hemsley and then writing those bills.
And Brother Juan, and even so much Benjamin Banneker had an effect on that man.
Yes, man. I don't think, again, I don't say this lightly. We don't understand just our proximity, how powerful we are. It's not so much we saying nothing, doing nothing. People are inspired. We mess up folks' DNA when they come in our presence sometimes. We don't even think about that.
Earth Angel, that book is by Stephen Oates. It's a bunch of, I got my light off in my room. I like to be in the dark because I have a light sensitivity. But I got another book in here by John Brown, but this particular book is by Stephen Oates. But I'm glad you brought that up, Brother Juan, about who John Brown was. And these people we always had, unfortunately, somebody there to speak on our behalf, but over time the grift got grifter. The grift got bigger.
John Brown was the spark that ignited the Civil War, man.
Yeah.
Keep it 100. It was John Brown who ignited the Civil War. Okay. So again, when you don't know your history, We don't pass it down. We don't put no respect on our ancestors, and it just we got a lot of work to do, man.
So because we had to, I asked the question. Like I said, I don't know you guys going forward, and I'm being perfectly transparent and honest with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do to respect King's legacy. I don't know whether to be silent, to talk about the two Americas. I have the book, the book. Where do we go from here now?
Mm-hmm.
Like so much of his stuff has been taken out of context. We want to use it when it suits. Like I'll be honest, a lot of us use it when want to suit our agenda, and the people who should be leading the charge and understand who he was should be his kids. But we know.
I think that we got to look at it. Here it is. We got to put them in certain segments, like a pie. You don't eat a pie. It's one slice at a time. That dream speech in '65 was not the same beyond Vietnam in '68. Where do we go here?
I'm gonna put this up here, and this is deep. What Bad Hombre said.
Okay.
Yo, Hannibal is yo.
Oh
You
yeah,
full of
Hannibal.
shit, Hannibal.
Hannibal said the Civil War started over that good old sweet.
Yeah, you're
black-
a damn fool, Hannibal.
That black cobbler.
There might be some truth to that because didn't they have wet nurses? They were sucking on Negro women titties from a historical lens, and it's been over 50 something years they've been off that nipple. Just saying.
So Bad
They had to
Hombre said
institute the Casual Killing Act because we kept on sneaking around on the
Bad
system.
Hombre said, Brother Juan,
Mm-hmm.
if his people don't care, why should we?
Now I don't know what that means. If his people don't care, why should we?
Talking about King's legacy.
If his people don't, you talking about his people, us, or
No.
his family?
His family.
His family.
Because King is bigger than the family. I lost respect for the King family when they sold everything to the government for some money to maintain their standard of living. I stopped respecting them. And King was never, them children are, because I know.
Go with it. Come on, Wolf. Come on now. Come on, man.
They weak. They weak, man. Again, if we put more emphasis on the last 2 years, you will see a whole different King. That's why these folks have hijacked the King's thoughts, his legacy, his words. Man, I'm done with 65 and 64 King. I'm on that 68 King.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
He was talking about the military complex, talking about Vietnam. Where do we go from here? I'm on that King. Y'all can have that other one. Because that's the one that's been weaponized against all of us.
So when we look at we discussed the executive orders, we discussed we got something to discuss. I can't use the picture. I'm not going to use the picture. You won't have my channel taken down. You won't have Chef G's channel taken down. We all know, let me just give some context to the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. He was giving a speech on Monday. And in the course of his speech, he said, "From my heart to yours."
Okay.
He did a gesture that a lot of people feel as though it is the Third Reich salute to their leader. It's a salute to the commander in chief at the time. Some people have taken it as the Nazi salute, derogatory salute, and so forth and so on. A lot of people giving pushback. A lot of people saying, "Well, what about this? What about that?" I believe context matters. I believe that if you understood what he was saying, a lot of people do gestures. I mean, that's me. My brothers on the panel may feel as though it was the Nazi salute. But for me, I know how a lot of people talk with their hands. I understand gestures. I've been places where you see a lot of different, and I'll say it, gang signs, and you can interpret things the way you want to interpret it. But I just want to bring it up because it's something that a lot of people are talking about. But I have something I want us to look at. This is the Anti-Defamation League. Anti-Defamation League is ran by the Small Hats, and they talked about it, and this is what they said. In regards to his speech and his hand gesture, this is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm, not a Nazi salute. But again, we appreciate that people are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of doubt, and take a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity in the months and years ahead.
So let me say something about that. Let me say something about that. John Carlos, Tommy Smith, the Olympics, raising the black fist. Is that offensive? Huh?
Not for us.
If I raise this black fist like Carlos and Tommy Smith, is that offensive?
Hey, don't forget
offending
Ali.
by that? Okay, miss me. You know what? Miss me with that. That ain't my conversation. I'm not support. Look, I'm not supporting the small hats on this. I'm going on record. That don't concern me.
Well, I think it concerns us not from a different lens and perspective. First things first, AD&L has been targeting other Negro and Black American people throughout the ages by saying that they're radical, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could point to the likes of the Black Panthers, Minister Farrakhan, and other people of the likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see this and this man does a full on Nazi display and they write government policies on behalf of the public on what racism is, what racial normatives should be, quote unquote, that's coming from them, the Southern Law Center, and a couple other institutions as well. So this is a very dangerous issue because they sat there and weaponized on Kanye West and Kyrie over a damn book. But this man's out here doing a Nazi salute and they don't even bat an eyelash. And they're considered to be a watchdog.
It was a Nazi salute.
I didn't catch that.
Can we confirm it was a Nazi salute?
Yeah. No. We should be because our people liberated their people, so we know what a Nazi is. See, our ancestors fought against that. So to say that we don't know what a Nazi salute is when we don't put bullets in them in war, I think that's making us and our ancestors look bad. And I'm not. And so if we're we saved them from the ovens, not the other way around. We came over there and liberated them. So then you're gonna tell us that we don't know what a Nazi is when we were shooting them in between their eyes.
So my
they
thing
need to
is,
stop playing. They need to stop playing.
Hold up, Negro. My thing is, and I'm looking at everybody's comment in the chat, and everybody is entitled. Like, this is a major issue. This is an issue where a lot of people are offended. I understand what Brother Juan is saying. This don't got nothing to do with me.
No, it don't.
My thing is, and I'm going to speak to Brother Juan first, right? And I think I could kind of understand where he's coming from. I don't know what type, but I know he's trained to know certain things when he sees things. When he made this gesture, Brother Juan, and he said, "From my heart," he touched his heart, and he said, "To you." That's what he did.
Yeah.
Do you think? Why don't you think it was that salute? Just preference it like that.
It's the same reason I do this. When I give you the shake, what's up, brother? You know what I'm saying? Pump, I get the little fist from my heart. Fist pump to my heart. You know what I'm saying? Especially during the pandemic, I wasn't hugging nobody. You get the fist and this. So he did this and this again.
So brother Negro, let me ask you, right? Because this is interesting. Me and Chef C we ain't gonna stay out of it. We're gonna do our opinion about it, right? But brother Negro, let me ask you. So if the ADL, the very same people who should be offended if he did this, if the ADL, an organization that represents that religion, that group of people who dealt with that atrocity, if they say that they're not offended, why should we take on their fight?
That part.
We're not taking on their fight. The
No,
Nazis
no,
don't like Negro people
no, no,
either.
no,
We
we're
gotta
not,
and we gotta look at it from a Negro perspective.
we're
No,
not,
no,
we're
no.
not.
I'm gonna
If they are not, we're not talking about the Nazis offending black people. We're talking about if the ADL specifically said they are not offended, why are we?
I'm saying that we shouldn't be offended, but what I'm saying is that we should be looking at it with concern. That we need to be looking at it for our own safety, because these type of individuals with that mindset don't like our people. I don't have to worry about what it is from a Jewish perspective. I'm looking at it from a Negro and a Black American perspective. These groups have hostility to our people, and then on top of that, that's like, and yeah.
What group has hostility towards black Americans?
Nazis has always been hostile.
Are they the only group that has hostility towards
No,
black
no, no, no. But there's other ones as well. There's other different white, I would say, sets and gangs and cliques and stuff of that nature. So yeah, I would be kind of concerned that this individual is out here displaying these open hostility on a government federal floor. Like where's security at? I'm looking and raising eyebrows here. And even if he did, even if he might have done it by mistake, it's the principle of it. If you do something like that for less in another country, you might end up being behind bars because you're inciting hate speech or you're inciting something. Why isn't there not the same zero tolerance, especially if these people are anti-Negro and anti-Black? We should have a zero tolerance from our perspective, not from the Jewish perspective. Their plight is not our plight, and it should never mix.
Interesting. I'm gonna read some of you. I'm gonna throw some of you guys' comments up before we get to Chef C.
Again,
Ebony Eyes, I'll start with you, brother Juan. 1 second.
Go ahead.
It looked like a Nazi salute, but I associate that with Elon. I'm not offended. I'm not supporting these other groups either. Everyone is on their own. They're quiet on that salute too, not a peep. Hold on. Russia won World War II. They claim it's a Roman salute if it's a big difference between that and the Nazi salute. Black Hombre said Bad Hombre said we shouldn't. Earth Angel said take heed. Chanel said interesting take, Nazi or anti-Black American. They target us. The Jewish community have protection. What protection do Black American have? Mus is African. Chef C.
Well, I mean, listen. If his salute offended a small hat, good. That's where I'm at. If it didn't, good. This is white on white crime as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about what's happening over there with none of them folk. Y'all, listen, and salute to some of my white folks that's holding it down. But y'all got to hold that L. Y'all better go ahead and take care of business. Go ahead and pack Elon up. That's your man's. You brought him over here. You gave him all that property. He paying maybe $1 or $2 on taxes, making billions a year. Y'all handle that. That's your problem. I'm sitting over here, black, with my little hoodie on. Ain't nothing to see here. As far as I'm concerned, Elon, if you're getting them mad, keep doing it. And if y'all so mad, do something to correct Elon. And I'm gonna leave it like that, man. It ain't my problem. That's an A and a B situation, and Chef gonna see his way up out of it. I land.
One of the things that, like I said, for me personally, I've only been on the earth for a short period of time. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of symbolism. I've seen a lot. I know what I interpret certain symbolisms for. But my interpretation and my experiences can differ from you guys. Um, I could look at a person and tell the way he walk, where he's from, and I could determine what he's about. You take that same person, you put him in another part of the country, and I say to Brother Juan, for example, such and such on something else. He might be like, nah, they don't do that over here. I'm like, nah, he on. So I say that to say that I see hand gestures a lot. I see hand gestures a lot. I see the way people hold their fingers. And I know a lot of people will interpret this and say, oh, this is the definition of this. The definition for something means something different for different people. I have to be honest on how I see it. Far as if he did it, if they don't care, I don't care. I know I have no allies. I don't want none. I'm not trying to ingratiate myself to no one. I'm not. I know how I move locally. I know how I move with the brothers that I'm on the panel with, and I understand that this fight for what we're trying to get in this land is only going to be won with us.
Let me say something, Brother Q. We must be very mindful of our emotional collateral that we extend to people who have not reciprocated it back to us. That's not my argument. That ain't my fight. Okay? Because again, let me be on that stage and put up this fist with my black ass and my locks. How would they interpret that? Tommy Smith, John Carlos, It ain't
but then what's amazing, right? And I use you as an example, Brother Juan, depending on when you do that and where you do that, it can be interpreted a different way. You could have just won an award and you getting off the stage and you do that. Somebody might not even take it as, the black fist. They might take it as you just excited. I remember when daggone Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch. They thought he was crazy. Mm. I'm not capable enough. I'm not smart enough to interpret everything. I know that everything that we see is open to interpretation. Definitely when they talk about them hand gestures, I'm telling y'all, people be doing stuff right in your face and you would not have no idea that it's codified language for the type of people that they be around. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know I've dealt, I'm gonna give you guys a little background. I've dealt with, and I mean dealt with, I grew up around, played football with, went to school with groups of people who were very aggressive talkers, and they talk with hand gestures. And they say certain things where if you never been around that, you might interpret as they don't like you, or they're aggressive, or they talking slick to you. That's the way you might interpret it. Because I grew up around that, I take it as that's just the way they communicate. I mean, it's nothing. So I think this issue is interesting. I think it's polarizing. Like President Trump, he's polarizing. So, people gonna give as much energy to it as they think is best. What you're saying, Brother Negro?
Yeah, I posted up an article into the chat talking about the victims that were black that were in the Holocaust that normally get overlooked. Everybody talks about the Jewish or the small hat aspect, but they don't talk about the black people that were involved that were African descent and more. So when I say that the Nazis don't like Negro people and that we should be more mindful of that, I think that we should. Our enemy is not just the Klan, you know, and I think that we need to broaden our scope on who are our enemies and why.
See, I don't know if it's about enemies or not. I think it's knowing when you're being used. We have been the poster child for everybody's struggle but our own.
Watch yourself, brother Nico. Watch
And I'm
yourself.
not extending no more collateral to folks who don't like us, who don't care for us. And I've watched over the last year them giving resources to folks who are visitors illegally. So no, I'm not on board with that. You know, I don't care about his gestures. And they can use this against me when I run for politics in a couple of years. It'll come back up.
Yeah, brother Nico, to answer your
10
question,
toes down.
I grew up with a lot of Sicilians. I grew up with Northeast Sicilians. Northeast part of the country is different. Anybody know Sicilians and Italians from Staten Island? You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And their women are very aggressive. Their women talk very aggressive. And you may interpret it, if you've never been around it, you might interpret it a certain way. But I don't know. Like this is a very, very interesting. Hold on.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Brother Negro, you had dropped?
When you don't control the media, you don't control the narrative. These folks know how to get folks riled up for their causes. I'm not on board with that. You know, I'm not. You're going to stop using. We got to stop being used for other folks' fights. We're the biggest ones that go out there and protest and ain't getting no resources. Talking about reparations. Miss me. That's not my fight.
I'm not saying to fight on behalf of the small hats. I'm saying that they have a grudge against us in our own plight that we should be getting resource for to combat it.
We're the
These guys have exterminated black people. They have murdered black people, not just Jewish people. And I'm looking at it from the lens of these guys are terrorists, domestic terrorism, an active domestic terrorism, and it should be met with a challenge. And especially, I'm not even worried about the small hats. If they don't think it's a threat, that's their issue. The issue is that because of the black and white economy that they promote in America, that he's promoting a racial hierarchy from an international perspective, and he's importing that nonsense into America. A group of people that hate black folks. I'm not even worried about the other groups. I'm talking about what they have specifically done to our people, or people who look like us.
Oh, I was about to say because
yeah. I know the African.
I was about to say because we got some reports when Jesse Owens found out when he went over there, and what was said to him has been a lot of conflicting reports. So this is a very, like I said, it could be much to do about nothing, or like some people say. It's an issue that needs to be addressed. I know that Elon Musk's father went on with Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo brought it up to his father. His father's like, nah. Elon Musk, but most people don't know. I think he has that social disorder, Asperger. I don't know. I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying. All I say is what as our grandparents told us, if it doesn't come out in the water, it should have come out in the rinse.
We need to stay out of white folks' business. Okay. Again, I know this will be used against me when I run for politics a couple years from now. They pulled this up because I didn't support. But look, it's not my business. We got to stop. Look, I'm not gonna be fighting on. Look, I'm not.
So you on the campaign trail? You on the campaign trail now?
Yeah, you got to speak those things and be nice what they are. You got you don't wake up 3 years from now and say you're gonna run. You run now.
That's what I'm talking
now. Shoot, I'm running now.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Yeah, I'm running right now. Well, I'm just saying, look here. You don't see them running to protect us, support us, huh? So I'm not gonna be running to support you and your cause or what you believe is a cause. I'm not gonna read into nothing. I saw him wave, and that's what it was. It was a wave. The same wave I gave during the pandemic. Bump, yeah. Because I wasn't hugging nobody back then. Because I didn't get that shot. Okay.
Most people don't hug people now. Hugging is a sign of intimacy.
Well, the scripture says, greet your brother and sister with a hug and a kiss. See, everything we're doing now is to go against the scriptures. Okay. And even this topic. Look, I'm not so sure about them folks any old way. What tribe you from? What tribe you from? It's 12. I'm gonna leave it right there because I don't want this thing to be banned. You don't want to have this conversation with me. You really don't want this conversation.
Chef C, is there anything that we didn't touch on, man? This was a quick show, man.
No, I
busy.
mean we touched on everything. I think we did a phenomenal job. Hitting all the topics. Yeah, apologies. Gaslighting and the pardons. We got them all in here. So, yeah, I think we covered it all, sir. We covered it all.
I think the hatred for Trump has clouded folks' reasoning. Either you like him or you hate him, right? I don't like him or hate him. I just watch him. The scripture says, watch as well as pray. I just watch him, see what he's doing. But some folks are their hatred has turned to hatred. And they hurt because you know what, things ain't work out for them. But you got to, you still got to function, man. You still got to be able to do that.
One of the things, and I expressed this to Chef C behind the scenes, is that I always been the type of person that when life comes, you just deal with it. We know that as we gotten older, it's a need for understanding our mental health. I'm going to plead with my people who are triggered by Donald J. Trump, who this man has single-handedly made a whole bunch of people crash out since he stepped on the political scene in 2015, per se. I'm begging that they go get some treatment because Trump deranged syndrome is real. It's real. It's real, you guys. So if y'all know anybody in the chat, if you know anybody, and I'm not playing, I'm not trying to be funny, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. If you know anybody who just can't deal with Donald J. Trump and he makes them feel some type of way whenever they hear something about him, please, man, if they got any type of health insurance or whatever, please go get some help. Please go get some help. Because when he finally goes away, them issues still gonna be there. He's triggering people.
Well, I'm gonna say this because again, I follow the scriptures, whether it's a Muslim scripture, Torah or Quran or the Bible. How do you say you love God and whom you've never seen and you hate the folks you see every day? I don't walk around and hate, man. I may not like what you're doing, but I ain't got no hate like that. These folks got straight hatred that's turned to hatred. I'm not with that. You can't say you love God if you hating like that. And again, I'm always bringing up that dang on pandemic because they was on hatred back then. And it's the same folks. They ain't changed. They're the same ones who want me now to get on their hatred wagon. I'm not with that right now. Because y'all don't show me.
And the hatred, let me tell you that the indoctrination. I'm glad you said you made me think of that, Brother Nico, with your comment. The indoctrination of the hatred and the rhetoric, right? One of the things that went viral was how President Obama was cordial to Donald Trump. and they were talking during President Carter's ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people had backlash towards President Obama for being talkative to him. And a lot of content creators talked about it and said, y'all called this man a fascist. That's political theater.
Right.
We need to understand the difference between political theater and campaigning and cordial and being civil. You see somebody, I've sat next to people at ceremonies and I didn't know him from a can of paint. You sit there, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You look nice. You smell nice. How's everything going, man? It's bad occasion. We have gotten so polarized that we don't have a middle course. You either love excessively or you hate excessively. It's no balance. And
balance.
And it's really sad that we as people have gotten so caught up in this, and I'm telling you, I love my people, but I'm telling you, I've seen it.
But
This
this is why
man,
it's good to have these conversations because you realizing that everybody ain't thinking like that. I can agree with Chef and don't disagree with Chef. I can agree with you and don't disagree with you, but I ain't mad at you. I ain't hating on you. I'm not. I respectfully disagree with you. And trust me, now look, this ain't happened overnight now. But again, I mean, look, in my pursuit of killers and murderers and rapists, you apprehend them jokers and you want to take them out, their day is in court.
and that speaks to what we're
Okay.
talking about in the hatred and the Trump derangement syndrome. Is I've heard people, Chef C, we talked about it right before the inauguration show we did, with people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna sit out for 4 years." You're gonna sit out for 4 years. This is why I'm be honest with you. This is why we don't get movement.
Folks said they moving to a whole other country.
Send me their email address and I'll look up the flights for them and the place they can reside.
Right, Sister Star. Right.
And
Listen,
again, shout out to Sister Star for the support too. Shout out to Sister Star.
Yeah, Sister Star been holding us
Cash
down,
App.
man.
Star holding
We need
us
to lights
down.
up in the cash apps, okay?
Salute to Sister Star holding us, keeping the Sister Star keep the kitchen open. That's a fact.
Look at that. See?
So really, like when you think about it, when you hear, and I know, and I'm not gonna, we're gonna have a time and a place where we address those who have said, "I'm gonna sit out for 4 years." Do y'all really think we got time to sit out of anything? We're at war. You got no time to be sitting out. You basically telling me when you sit out that if you could get some tangibles for our people and you had a way to get to the lawmakers and the people that make decisions, you won't do it because you're worried about the way somebody talk. It's like that scene from Snowfall. I want to hear that shit. Get it done.
But see, Brother Q, that's why I say most of us don't believe we're at war. That's why I say, as much as I am the ordained one, and I've gone through the whole licensing process, I don't lead with that because in times of war, you don't consult the priesthood. You consult the warrior class. I'm a warrior, man. I'm a warrior who just happened to be a righteous person. But in my righteousness, I will take you out. I will stop you, stop the threat, and I will teach others how to stop you. Okay? And I'm still righteous. But I'm not leading with the righteousness right now. I'm leading with the sword.
So, with that, we'll close out, man. We had a good cook up. We're gonna Chef C has basically asked me to, and I have been able to do it, is lead the charge. So I got to do some certain things, you guys. Pattalk, and I know that this is Pattalk, I always like to say, is Chef C and Dr. Short's brainchild.
It is.
And whether Dr. Short is here or not, I always think about him with this because he's the 6 degrees of separation for all of us.
Hmm.
He Dr. Short is one of them people that he just like people to know people, man. You get on the phone with Dr. Short, he gonna pat you in. You be on the phone, next thing you know, it's like 6 people on the phone.
It'd
Like,
be a
this
conference
is
call.
yeah,
It's
he
crazy.
be connecting people from all over the country. This is what he do. It's what he like to do. So this is always an honor to be on Pat Talk with the brothers and always be able to chop it up. But any final thoughts, you guys? What we got cooking, Chef C and Brother
Well, I
Juan,
will say
Negro?
this. Let me say this
Go ahead.
as we get ready to get out of here. One, I want to thank everybody for tapping in with us today. Make sure you subscribe to all the platforms, please, ladies and gentlemen. Also, support the platforms. You see Brother Q's Cash App up there. Hit our Brother Q's Cash App, please. And then when you're done with that, hit Chef C's Cash App. And then when you spin the block, lwftraining.com, ladies and gentlemen, numerous threats that need to be stopped, and he's willing to show you how to do that. So lwftraining.com, and my brother Negro,
All threats get eliminated.
immediately. I definitely want to, brother Negro, if you're in here, man, let them know what you got shaking and coming down the pipeline, because I'll tell everybody what I got shaking, and
Yeah, definitely. I got the OBM lawsuit that's being filed, Sister Kim, and I also got the Lions Club refiled, so that's sizzling now too. So I'll keep you guys posted about that. Graduation's on the 15th of May, so I have my master's in investigations. So I'm very, very excited about that. Law school's definitely on the horizon. Make sure I get that GPA up. But that's about the personal side. On the business side of the game, we are taking in memberships for the Negro Black Knights Heritage Club. Please visit our .org website so you guys can subscribe to get updates about things that we're doing and activities that we're up to. So I'll be more than glad to see you there as well. Thank you guys, and thank you for the chop up too. It's pretty good as always.
hey, brother Negro, before you go, real quick, sir, when can we expect delineationology to drop, sir? When can we
Oh yes,
expect
I'm
that?
trying to get that done before February. I'm putting the finishing touch, and I'm excited. I really am excited because it talks about the fraud schemes that some of these immigrant groups are operating in, and they're stealing from our community. And some of I think Brother Juan is aware of the fraud triangle, right? The three elements to make up a fraud.
Mm.
Uh, so I expanded that to each ethnic group and racial group that has harmed the Negro here on the American soil. So,
The Tether Slayer. That's his new
yes,
nickname. That's
yes,
that's gonna
yes,
be his new name, the Tether Slayer.
yeah, yes. I hope that this book really honestly reach President Trump. Maybe he'll motivate to get these people on the ICE force and get them
Mm.
hip to what they're doing financially to rip off our community and to destabilize our community. Because these are the reason why they're in leadership role, blocking other people from our community. Because they're taking resources that don't belong to them to give to another group of people, especially during Black History Month. So
Mm.
keep your eyes peeled, family. Keep your eyes peeled.
Salute to that, brother Negro. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody what I got. Tomorrow we will be running number 2 of the cook up test run. Tomorrow, I'm going to be making beef cheeks, ladies and gentlemen. So cow cheeks tomorrow, and we're gonna do some Hasselback potatoes. We'll do
See that,
potatoes
brother
3
Juan?
ways
See
tomorrow.
that, Chef C?
Say again.
You believe this? You see what he put?
I was pardoned from. See, oh man. Ah, I love it. Look at that. Okay, interesting. Interesting. He was pardoned.
What Well, subscribe to all our channels. We all got email addresses to take to the channel. Email us, tell us who you are outside of your name. If you want to come on one of our programs, and we'll put you on, as long as you ain't crazy. You know, my I'll just share some personal stuff with you. I got somebody in the system, so I know where Sandstone is. So, like I said, we subscribe to our channels, and we got email addresses, man, so we can verify definitely who you is, and
It's a
you can
fact.
come on and you can share your experience. Quite sure we'll talk about it. Pardon me, Chef.
All good. Nah, that's good, man. Definitely check us out and connect with us, man. We'll bring you on the show. Shit. To have that conversation. But nonetheless, again, ladies and tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, the cook up, our test run part 2 is going to happen tomorrow. We are going to make braised beef cheek. We'll be making potatoes 3 ways. We're gonna do a Hasselback. We'll do a chive, a palm puree, and we're going to do a potato pizza, a quote unquote pizza. But I'll show y'all how that looks and how you can emulate it at home. And then and then our third beta test for the cook up, which would be leading to the separate platform. We'll probably be doing something to salute my sister Star. She requested some vegan options, so I'm probably gonna do that third beta test for the cook up, and it'll probably be something in regards in the field of vegan food. So tomorrow, be on the lookout. Make sure you hit the notification bell, y'all, because I will not be making any thumbnails. I'm just gonna pop it open tomorrow, pause. So make sure y'all be on the lookout for that. I look forward to seeing y'all all there. And remember to support the program, ladies and gentlemen. $ FTS49. I appreciate y'all. Salute.
Brother Juan, you got any final thoughts?
Again, a nice program. My final thoughts is this. I need you guys to be mindful of them stadiums you're going to. I say don't go. Those ballparks, those theaters. Be mindful of large gatherings. We are not out of the clear. The coast is not clear, family. Folks who just did a retreat, they're regrouping, but they're gonna come back stronger. Also, if you have not considered a shotgun, I need you to consider one. Consider a bow and arrow if you got to. Consider a rifle, but I need you to be able to protect yourselves out here. It's not safe as you think it is. It appears to be, but it's not. So you'll see me on these social media streets. Probably when February hit, you may be seeing me maybe once a week. I'm gonna be focused strictly on the guns on this channel. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just rebrand my Juan J. Johnson old channel and use that. But you'll probably be seeing nothing but the guns and firearms on the lawn with firearms, because people are coming to this channel and they're not getting guns, they're getting commentaries. So I'm gonna have to either just focus strictly on the guns, public safety, and then utilize my Juan J. Johnson as the channel when we talk about these issues. So you'll see me.
Myself, I got some interesting content coming. I got a show coming Monday. I'll probably do something before Monday, but I got a show coming Monday. It's called Inquisition Newark, where we're going to discuss local politics in Newark, New Jersey. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey is running for governor, one of the candidates in the Democratic Party who's trying to get a Democratic ticket to run for governor. Newark, New Jersey has a major educational problem where over 80% of their students can't read past the 3rd grade level. Newark, New Jersey just had one of the biggest ICE raids since Trump took office, where allegedly some documented people, veterans, got detained, as well as I think it was 7 who were here illegally. So with this new administration on the national level, it's going to affect some of these sanctuary cities. So I got a very good show coming Monday. It's called Inquisition North. It's going to probably be every 2 weeks. Me and this sister by the name of Sheila Montague. She's grassroots. She was the lieutenant mayor. She been in the politics. She's an educator. She's got that YZ spirit. I mean, she's one of them people. I would suggest anybody that's doing grassroots work to link up with her. She's awesome if you ask me. But that's what I got coming down the pipe. Really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Pattalk 56, man. All I can say is remember to like, share, subscribe to all our channels, support us, get them cash apps ringing, so we can continue bringing you content. These services cost money, and sometimes the more you help, the more it motivates, and people feel obligated to continue bringing you great content. We appreciate everybody in the chat. We don't take nobody in the chat for granted. Everybody has a voice. We're not talking at you, we're talking with you. So with that, you guys have a great night. Take care.